Welcome back, patreon.com/Derrick Lamon. Experience your one-stop shop for your gaming news. Of course, this is the Week in Gaming. This happens every Saturday at 2 p.m. on Patreon for our paid patron subscribers. These episodes then go to the free feeds Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. So for early access as well as other content, please go ahead and subscribe to patreon.com/Derrick Lamon Experience. So you get this information up front, and then you also get a bunch of other stuff that I do. Kind of a slow news week, but this generally tends to happen after we have our summer showcases, but not too slow, actually. So this is very, very interesting. There's a lot, but the first thing we want to start off with is our condolences. This comes from videogameschronicle.com. Ubisoft co-founder Claude Guillemeau dies in a plane accident. Ubisoft confirms one of the 5 founding Guillemeau brothers has passed away. Guillemeau, 69 years old, co-founder of the Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six publisher, with his 4 brothers in 1986. Yves Guillemeau was the CEO and chairman of Ubisoft. Claude was the president and CEO of Guillemeau Corporation, a company specializing in equipment and accessories for PCs, mobile devices, and consoles. On Saturday, Ubisoft confirmed that Claude was involved in a light aircraft crash in Leblanc, which left 2 people dead. On June 19th, an aircraft registered to Guillemeau crashed in a field near Leblanc Airport. Confirming the information to Quest France, Ubisoft stated that it was with deep sadness that we learned of the death of Claude Guillemeau, co-founder of the group and president of Guillemeau Corporation, in an accident. Our thoughts are with his family and loved ones during this difficult time. Ubisoft's origins began in farming when the 5 Guillemeau brothers, Christian, Claude, Gerard, Michael, and Yves, helped with agricultural sales, distribution, accounting, and management with their parents in Brittany, France, before university. After graduating, the brothers diversified to sell their agricultural products, and Claude began by selling CD audio media. Later, the brothers expanded to computers and software, including video games. Ubisoft Entertainment was founded by the brothers on March 28th of 1986. The name Ubisoft was selected to represent ubiquitous software, which a lot of people don't understand. They're like, it's Ubisoft. And I'm like, no, it's short for ubiquitous software. It's not ubiquitous software, it's ubiquitous software. So I really wish y'all would get that right. Anyway, prayers, condolences, and everything to his family and friends. This is God. We just Vince Zampella a few months back there's video of him coming out of a tunnel and flying. I want to say it was a Ferrari. I could be wrong, but he crashed headfirst into a wall and unfortunately passed away. So, unfortunately, I hate to have to report on stuff like this, but it is unfortunately part of the gaming news. 69 years old. 69 years old. It makes me really think about the fact that my dad just turned 70 and my mom is 65, and this situation being different, obviously, because it wasn't exactly natural causes that caused this man to pass away. So again, thoughts and prayers and our condolences to his family. In other news, before we get into some other stuff, this also comes from videogameschronicle.com. PlayStation's PC port error appears over as Sony scrubs key policy language. So Jason Schreier told us that this was coming around the same time that Sony closed down Blue Point Games. Everybody's like, yeah, they haven't said anything and bullshit. We're still going to have PlayStation games on PC and you ponies can just suck it. Well, it's here. It's the truth is there. I told you, if Nate the Hate says it and he leaks something, chances are it's going to happen, right? Devil's in the details. Star Fox, Ocarina of Time, the most 2 recent, but there's other things that Nate the Hate has leaked that have come true. Jason Schreier, if he says something, I believe it. Take it to the bank. Anyway, Sony has removed mention of bringing its first-party titles to PC from an annual business report, seemingly confirming a major change policy. The new annual report was filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission this weekend, aka the SEC, and thanks to analysis from GameFile, some notable changes and omissions have been uncovered. Notably, a line from last year's report that stated, quote, Sony plans to continue its efforts to deploy its first-party titles to multi-platforms such as PC had been cut entirely from the 2026 version. This is seemingly the first public admission by the PlayStation maker of a change in release strategy following a Bloomberg report earlier this year that claimed Sony was pulling back from its plan to release its upcoming games on PC, with future single player games set to become PS5 exclusives. This should have been the plan the entire time. The entire time. Don't weaken your console by putting your games on PC, because the clearest stance of this happening is what Microsoft did, going day and date on Game Pass and also putting the games on PC. It just hurts the ability to sell your console. So Sony seems to have figured that out. PlayStation Studio CEO Herman Hulst is said to have told staff in May that single player titles from PlayStation, such as OW, Ghosts of Yote, Sorrows, and Marvel's Wolverine, will remain console exclusives. In recent years, the company has ported its games to PC after their PS5 versions. Now, elsewhere in Sony's business report, it has added a new section about how Sony is utilizing AI to unleash the creativity of studios and further enhance the PlayStation experience. This is a mistake. You're killing the environment. But who the fuck am I, right? Sony laid out its plan for the use of AI in PlayStation game development earlier this year and committed to its implementation. The Sony report has also removed the word, quote, profitable for its immediate aims, likely in light of the ongoing component shortage that has caused hardware prices to soar. In 2025, Sony was striving, to continuously expand the installed base of the PS5. This year, it says it expects to be affected by the impact of the increased prices and supply shortages of memory semiconductors. Well, we're all kind of feeling that, so nothing new there. I've seen some reports. They were like the PlayStation 6 is going to be delayed to 28 or 29, and then I've seen some somewhat credible people come out and say no, it's still coming in 2027. With the price of everything, this console is going to launch at $700, and we're going to talk about pricing of something in a little bit. So stay tuned, man. Star Fox reviews are out. The VGC review comes in. It gave it 4 out of 5. Velvet Studios' Knockout City updated the classic Nintendo 64 game Star Fox. Largely elevates the original with its slick cinematic presentation, stunning visuals, and phenomenal orchestral soundtrack, plus the addition of challenge modes and a light multiplayer suite. It achieves its goal of providing an awesome entry point into a long dormant Nintendo series for fans young enough to associate Fox McCloud and Falco more with Smash Brothers in the Super Mario Galaxy movie rather than their own game series. I've played the demo at the time of recording. I have not picked up a copy of the game. I'm definitely doing that tomorrow. So here's what they have to say. Nintendo's arcade shooter remains a classic, and its Switch 2 version adds stunning visuals, a fantastic orchestral soundtrack, brilliant cinematic touches that elevate the experience. While I'd have liked a little more care put into restoring its smaller parts, the Switch 2 remake is otherwise a fantastic way to discover or revisit a classic. The pros: a beautiful visual update of a classic, stunning orchestral score, cutscenes and cinematic presentation elevate the experience. The cons: shooting lacks the tactile feel of the original, little meaningful extra content over the original. So it's almost a 1-to-1. And the only huge improvement is the visuals. The controls, I'm not gonna lie, felt a bit strange. It's like, why am I using this button to do this? And that's how I felt when I played the demo. But nonetheless, I love Star Fox, so I'm definitely picking this up tomorrow. Again, by the time you guys hear this, I will have game in hand, and it will be in my Switch 2 on one of my 4K televisions, enjoying some classic Nintendo fun. Shout out to Fox McCloud. So this is very, very interesting. I saw it on PC Gamer, but I see it here as well. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So Ori director says Game Pass could have worked if Xbox didn't slop out mediocre content like a factory. Ooh, testy. Those are fighting words there. The Moon Studios CEO argues Microsoft has not delivered enough hit games. Director of Xbox's critically acclaimed Ori Games has criticized Microsoft's Game Pass strategy, claiming that the subscription service could have been a bigger success if the company didn't incentivize studios to slop out mediocre content like a factory. Now, Game Pass has come under focus again this week after news broke that Microsoft is allegedly planning significant cuts across its gaming business, including the potential closure of at least 3 studios, Double Fine, Compulsion, and Ninja Theory purchased during Xbox's big subscription push. Game Pass' last known subscriber figure was 34 million, published back in February of 2024. However, growth is understood to have slowed in recent years, and Xbox recently confirmed that a price rise introduced last year shed millions of subscribers in a few months. There was a hashtag on Twitter like cancel Game Pass or something like that, and like everybody who was going to the Microsoft website to cancel, it crashed because so many people hit the fucking website. I'm not joking. I remember that day very well. excuse me, Moon Studio CEO Thomas Mahler, who directed both Ori games, wrote on X that he believed Game Pass hasn't been more successful because Xbox did not produce enough hits. Well, not exactly wrong. But when they did have hits, they fucked it up. Hi-Fi Rush was a guaranteed, like a bona fide hit, and they shadow dropped it, and it was still a hit. And then they screwed up by closing Tango Games, and then they put it on PlayStation 5. I think it was supposed to go to Switch. I don't remember if it ever did or not. And then Tango Games was rescued by somebody else, but it should have never come to that point. Mahler was responding to a post from 3D Realms founder George Broussard in which he questioned whether Microsoft overbought studios in an attempt to feed its Game Pass ambitions, which I would say they did. Quote, the Game Pass strategy could have worked if people would have shown up for it, Mahler wrote. Problem is they didn't, and the software catalog was just nowhere near good enough to make people happily pay the subscription every month. It's the same as with streaming in the film business. I'll happily pay my HBO sub because HBO has amazing content that I want to watch. I keep that sub just to binge Sopranos, The Wire, Game of Thrones, etc. Add Mad Men into there now. But with games, new for some reason is very, very important to players. And if your new content doesn't even remotely match the quality of the old content, you've got a problem. The Moon Studio CEO added that he believed Microsoft needed its studios to deliver more hits that a broad audience will want to play. But what was the big Xbox game in recent years that was just delightfully good? That game doesn't exist, he wrote. I beg to differ. Hi-Fi Rush was a really good game. They've had some games. The Forza Horizon series, those have hit. It's just that, again, Halo, Gears, and Forza. And apparently the Halo fans didn't care for Halo Infinite. So when you just add all that up, and then you got a bunch of other little crappy games and shit like that, Goat Simulator and stuff like that. And let me not call them crappy. It's not things I would play. You couple that with the fact that the acquisition caused the price of Game Pass to go up for sure. Now, the tariffs and the acquisition probably played a part in the price of the consoles going up, but who am I? Um, Microsoft, some people like they've been dealt. I remember a couple years ago, everybody was like, "There's the Xbox tax," and I'm like, "What the fuck is the Xbox tax?" And they're like, "Anything with Xbox basically doesn't get the review score they would get if it was a PlayStation title, and this, that, and the third, and it's because it's Xbox." And I'm like, "Y'all are out of y'all fucking minds." They've had very high rated games. The last couple of Forza Horizons have been rated very fucking high. I think y'all want everybody to believe this Xbox tax shit is real. It's just not. So let's stop there. Again, the Studio CEO said that he believed Microsoft needed its studios to deliver more hits that a broad audience will want to play. That game doesn't exist. Almost every single first-party studio in recent years has been floundering. You want Bethesda to create a Skyrim in space, that ought to be better than Skyrim was because that was an old game, but we got Starfield instead. Oof. And that's the crux of the issue. You need the Xbox folks to deeply, fundamentally understand gamers and what they want. They need to understand what's a good game and what's a mediocre game, and they need to have good deals with devs so developers are actively incentivized to produce massive hits, not just slop out mediocre content like a factory. Mahler said the Game Pass had become a little like communism because it had not given developers a strong incentive to roll up their sleeves and go the extra mile. If you don't get the quality out that you need, if you don't get the quality you need, it all comes crashing down because players will not pay up unless you basically force them by making content that's so good that they feel like they miss out if they don't check it out. According to Metacritic's annual publisher rankings, Microsoft was the fifth best publisher in 2025 in terms of aggregated review scores. In 2024, Bethesda ranked 8th. In 2023 and 2022, Microsoft didn't make the top 10. However, in 2021, it grabbed a rare top place thanks to Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. A couple of years back, they had the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. Or they were higher than Sony was. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that was a thing. Pretty sure it was a thing. I don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know what to say. That I wish I could say I wish I could say that they're wrong. Unfortunately, they're not. This is really cool, really quickly. Sega's re-releasing the original Sonic Genesis games with $100 cartridges. That part is not cool. $100 cartridges are crazy. I am 8-bit Sonic and Sonic 2 cartridges are up for pre-order now. Sonic 2 has a orange translucent cartridge, and the original Sonic the Hedgehog has a blue translucent cartridge. So this is dope. Set to ship in quarter 3 of 2026, Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 35th Anniversary Legacy Collection are special cartridges that are playable on NTSC Sega Genesis consoles. Original Sonic comes with a translucent blue cartridge shell, and the sequel ships on an orange cartridge. According to I Am 8-Bit, 1 and 8 cartridge soul will come in special Chaos Emerald versions. Ooh, that's cool. Each copy comes packaged with a full color instruction booklet, restored artwork, and new forward, housed in custom packaging design. The games are up for pre-order, will ship in waves later this year. I Am 8-Bit previously launched similar legacy cartridges for classic games such as Street Fighter 2, Mega Man X, Mega Man 2, Earthworm Jim, Excavator, Battletoads, Disney's Aladdin, and Disney's The Lion King. Don't ever eat Oreos before you record, but just don't have them without milk is another thing. The retro releases were announced during a special 35th anniversary live stream on Tuesday. Ahead of the stream, VGC spoke to Sonic team boss Takashi Iizuka about Sega's plans for the anniversary year and its collaboration with Pico Park. During the stream, Sega also announced Sonic Frontiers Definitive Edition for Nintendo Switch 2, which is out now, featuring improved graphics and all post-release content added to the 2022 version. Sega also announced a pair of Sonic game collections for Nintendo Switch. The classic Sonic collection will include Sonic Origins, Sonic Mania, and Sonic Superstars. The modern Sonic collection will bundle Sonic Frontier, Sonic Colors, Ultimate, and Sonic Forces. Both collections will be released physically in October for $49.99 US dollars. Shout out to everybody who loves Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm a Sonic guy. Where are we at? So let's flip back on over here so that we took care of that. So, in other news, and this comes from Windows Central, this is very interesting. A systematic pattern of wage and hour violations. Xbox RPG studio Obsidian is facing a class action lawsuit, denies each and every allegation. Um, I won't tell you much, but we I have to deal with legal things at work, and we deny we deny all knowledge of any allegations and shit with our lawsuits. And nine times nine times out of the 10, we're guilty of this shit. Because I can see the notes and calls and stuff like. I'm just telling you, it's a thing. Anyway, the Xbox developer behind Fallout New Vegas, Avowed, and other RPGs is being sued. It comes to light that Obsidian Entertainment, the storied legendary developer known for creating Fallout New Vegas, The Outer Worlds, and Grounded, Pentiment Avowed, and The Outer Worlds 2 under Xbox Game Studios, is currently facing a class action lawsuit after allegedly violating state wage and hour laws. The case first opened in October of last year and followed by an amended complaint that was filed in January by plaintiff Victoria Turner, who has a name matching that of a QA lead that worked on Obsidian's 2025 RPG The Outer Worlds 2, accuses the Xbox studio of engaging in a systematic pattern of wage and hour violations under the California Labor Code and Industrial Welfare Commission's, the IWC, wage orders. Specifically, it's alleged that the developer failed to pay all wages, including minimum wages and overtime wages, didn't provide lawful meal periods or compensation in lieu thereof, and didn't authorize or permit lawful rest breaks or provide compensation in lieu thereof. It's also been it's also been claimed that Obsidian failed to reimburse necessary business-related costs, provide accurate itemized wage statements, pay wages timely during employment, and pay all wages due upon separation of employment. The lawsuit seeks monetary relief for Turner and all others similarly situated in California, where Obsidian is headquartered, with the ultimate goal being to recover, among other things, unpaid wages, reimbursed business expenses, benefits, interest, attorney fees, costs, and expenses and penalties. Ooh, notably, the case covers all persons currently or formerly employed by any or all defendants as non-exempt employees in the state of California at any time between October 9th of 2021 and the date of class certification. The plaintiff also seeks to include all members of the class who separated their employment with any or all defendants at any time between October 9th of 2022 and the date of class certification. City's first response to the lawsuit came in early March, with the studio stating that it, quote, denies generally and specifically each and every allegation in the FAC First Amendment complaint. It also denied that the plaintiff and any punitive class members she purports to represent have suffered any injury or been damaged in any sum whatsoever by reason or any act of omission from the developer or its staff. Pause them really quickly. She's talking about missed wages, unpaid wages, not getting proper break times, and stuff like that. Nowhere in what I read did she mention any kind of injuries. This just is Microsoft just can't get any good press right now. They just can't. And if you remember, Obsidian was the first studio to put out an $80 game under Xbox Game Studios last year. The Outer Worlds 2 was $80.
Hmm.
Article goes on to say Obsidian then argued Turner's case fails to state facts sufficient to constitute valid claims, and added that plaintiff and any punitive class members and/or allegedly aggrieved employees consented to and/or acquiesced in the alleged conduct by defendant of which plaintiff now complains. Essentially, what the studio is saying here is that Turner hasn't provided adequate proof to support the lawsuit's claims, and that the workers it represents voluntarily gave up lunch and rest breaks. I doubt that highly. I highly fucking doubt that. I doubt that. The case hasn't progressed since that response, but I and the rest of Team Windows Central will keep an eye on a report on new developments. All this comes amid Obsidian's efforts to restructure itself within Xbox, with the developer enacting plans to shorten development cycles, more frequently work with partner studios, and reuse technology and solutions from previous projects as it builds new ones. This is written by Brendan Lowry. They're using the same engine as what it sounds like. They haven't learned. They have not learned. I don't get what they're doing over at Microsoft and those partners. Well, not partner studios. They belong to Microsoft. They just don't fucking learn, dude. They just don't fucking learn. And I'm sick of having the conversation. I truly am. I just every day there's like another dart thrown at the dartboard with a picture of Phil Spencer or Asha Sharma or an Xbox Series X right there in the middle where the bullseye should be. It might be time to, like, I don't know, man. They own all this IP, so they're not going to give up on that. Maybe they should focus on software and let hardware go. And it sounds like crunch. And I just, if you're gonna crunch, you better make, like, they said this. They said this on the Weapon Wheel podcast. If you're gonna crunch, the game better be fucking amazing. Naughty Dog, The Last of Us Part 2, I think, had crunch. No, Uncharted 4 definitely suffered from crunch. Rockstar Red Dead Redemption 2 suffered from crunch. And both of those games were like generational games. So if you're gonna fucking crunch, you better make sure that shit is good. I don't get this. I don't get how we got here. And it's so crazy because I'm recording this on June 24th. Literally 3 weeks ago, we had a great Xbox showcase. Great Xbox Summer Showcase. And they've had nothing but bad press since that showcase. Nothing but bad press. You turn on kind of games every time there's an Xbox story. Paris Lily looks like somebody shot his best friend. And Paris is the same person who was like, "You want to play Fallout? Better bring your ass over to Xbox. You want to play Starfield? Better bring your ass over to Xbox. You want to play this? Better bring your ass over to Xbox." And then they put those games on PlayStation 5, and Paris just looks like his soul has been sucked from his body after the Compulsion, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory story and all this stuff. And I'm just like, how'd you guys get here? Probably by not telling the truth. Probably by allowing them to fly you out to conferences and showcases and go to dinner with you and act like they were friends of yours, this, that, and the third, so you would continue to give goodwill to the company on YouTube and Twitter Spaces and all this stuff, just for them to continuously spit in your fucking face. I just, I don't know. I just don't know, man. I feel bad. I feel really bad for Xbox because they don't deserve this, but I don't know what they did. Somebody up there like sold their soul or something. And it's like, I'll give you X now for your soul, but Microsoft, specifically the Xbox brand, is going to suffer for the tenure of the brand. And that person was like, sweet, where do I sign? Because this just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, they just can't catch a break. And to be very fucking clear, Sony has not had a great year. Closing down Bluepoint was a huge mistake. Soros has barely sold like 300,000 copies. They're not doing well either. The only issue is, or not the issue, the difference is there will be something that pops up like Sony's fucking up over there, and also add Bungie to that. That Bungie acquisition was a fucking mistake. So it'll be like Sony's fucking up, and then the story will go away. Whereas like Microsoft, it's like Microsoft keeps fucking up. Specifically, Xbox keeps fucking up, and I'm just like, bro, it must be hard. It must be hard. Pause. It really must be hard. I don't know, man. Best wishes to everybody over at Xbox. I don't know what to say. So one of the big stories this week, GTA 6 pre-orders by the time you hear this are live. The standard version of the game is $80, and then there is the deluxe version of the game that comes with much more, and that is coming in at $100. So I'm going to give you guys the pre-order bonuses, and then we're going to talk about the fact that number one, I said this, I told you guys this was going to happen, that PlayStation would have marketing rights. I have not seen anything from Xbox pumping up GTA 6, but PlayStation has something. So anyway, Rockstar confirms Grand Theft Auto 6 Ultimate Edition and pre-order bonuses as well as price. A variety of extra vehicles, clothes, and weapons will be included in the Ultimate Edition. Rockstar has confirmed the pre-order and Ultimate Editions. Take-Two has now confirmed the price of the game. The story has been updated accordingly. Ultimate Edition will include an exclusive collection of premium vehicles, weapons, apparel, and action threaded across all aspects of Jason Lucia's story, according to the studio. From the pictures they put out, they've got like 80s hair in some of them. I think that all those leaks are real. When they were calling it Project Americas and it was going to be a Bonnie and Clyde story. What if this does start in the 80s or the 90s? I don't know. This looks good though. This looks fucking crazy. Me and little bro were talking about it at work. We're both like, yeah, maybe, yeah, we're probably gonna buy the $100 version. It looks amazing. It just looks fucking amazing. Sorry, someone's asking me about Lord of the Rings. Anyway, so, players who pre-order or buy the standard or ultimate edition before November 20th will also get the vintage Vice City pack, which features a collection of items that flash back to when the neon burned brightest. Take-Two has also confirmed the standard edition of the game will cost $79.99 and the ultimate edition will cost $100. Everybody's like, I knew it was going to be $100. Bozo, there's other $100 games out here if you're going by that metric. All the deluxe editions generally are in the $90 to $100 range. Don't be a fucking idiot. The game is $80. The game, if you want the standard version, you can get it for $80. Just saying. Rockstar has also confirmed the physical version of Grand Theft Auto 6 will not include a disc at launch and will instead include a code in a box. Full list of content, including an Ultimate Edition with Rockstar description, is as follows. Now, pause really quickly. So the same picture on my computer is on my TV right now because I was watching IGN coverage of the gameplay details and all that stuff. So everybody's like, this is bullshit. I can't believe that there's not going to be an actual disc in the box. In the case, here's the thing. Don't go to the store and pay for plastic because you're going to get a download code. Now, I want to clear this up for people. I don't know why Take-Two is choosing to pay for plastic PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series cases to be in stores. I don't understand that for the life of me. Because if it's just going to be a digital download code, just make it a digital purchase only. Essentially, it is. You're paying $70 for the code and a plastic case to go on your shelf. If that's how you get down, by all means, go the fuck ahead. I'm not here to tell anybody how to spend their money. I just think that's really ridiculous. I remember midnight releases and going and meeting people and talking to them, exchanging gamer tags and stuff like that. And some of these people become your friends. Last midnight release I went to was last year for the Nintendo Switch 2. Met some really cool people there. Had a great time standing in line for all of us to get our tickets, and then coming back later that night and standing in line and talking and all going in and getting our consoles. Had a great time. Would I go to a midnight release for a fucking plastic case with a digital code? Abso-fucking-lutely not. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Please don't be that stupid, you guys. Okay, so now that I've said that, here's why they are doing a digital code. Two reasons. Number one, kind of save some money. Number two, and this is the big one. I want you guys to all pay attention. I remember the first time an album came out digitally first, and then the physical copies came a week later. And that was in 2011. It was Jay-Z and Kanye West, Watch the Throne. And everybody's like, why did they do this like this? This is the reason why. How did everybody's like, the album's out, the album's out. They had so many CDs, so many albums by artists had leaked. And this is how. When the physical copies of the albums get shipped out, those boxes end up at a Best Buy, a Target, used to be Sam Goody, FYE, whatever, whatever, all that stuff. Um, so what happens is when that stuff is being put in the back storeroom, because you can't put it out till the day before release on the shelves. So when it goes in the back storeroom, somebody takes a box cutter, they open the box, they take out a copy. It happened with DVDs as well. They grab a tape gun, they tape it back up as if nothing happened. The inventory is always going to be off because at least one copy is going to be missing. That person would then take that CD, DVD, or video game home and rip it to their computer and put it online and put it on the Pirate Bay or something like that. And that's how all the leaks occurred. That's why. So to combat the leaks, Jay and Kanye were probably Kanye was definitely at his peak. I don't know if I would say that was Jay's peak, but they were both still two of the biggest rappers on the planet. So them doing a collaborative album was a big deal. How do we stop the album from leaking? We hold on to all the hard drives ourselves. Number one, that prevents songs from leaking, which they didn't because the original version of That's My Bitch is different than the album version of That's My Bitch. At any rate, how do we stop the leaks? We will release the album digitally exclusively to the iTunes store first. Then I think the physicals a week later were exclusive to Best Buy, if I'm not mistaken. Then a week after that, 2 weeks after the album's initial release, then everybody else got the physicals. Rockstar is doing the same thing. Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the most, like, as far as bringing in revenue, it's one of the top media products of all time. That was in 2013. They expect, at the time I'm recording this, the pre-orders go live at midnight tonight. They're expecting $1 billion in revenue in pre-orders alone. So when we get to November, because they'll probably so the physical version would arrive at the store probably around like the 12th, because you can preload the game on the 12th of November. So let's say the physical versions arrive at the store around that same time. Somebody goes in and takes one and rips it online, and then we have a situation where we're seeing whole cutscenes like that person who backdoored Naughty Dog servers because everybody was working from home because they were pissed that The Last of Us Part 2 was delayed indefinitely because of the pandemic. That person put like the scene. We knew Joel died before the game actually released. We knew that we saw Abby. We didn't know how Abby was connected to the story, but I remember seeing the shot of her and Owen having sex on the boat, all that stuff. This is how you prevent that. Rockstar and Take Two can ill afford for this to be leaked online because they're expecting this game to be an absolute smasher of the first one and anything else that came before. Point blank, period. That is why you're getting digital codes. For people telling you they don't want to pay to ship disc or pay or make disc, that's bullshit. Because that's just bullshit. The reason you're getting a physical box with a code in it is to satisfy their retail partners. Target, Best Buy, I don't even think Best Buy keeps physical media anymore. So not them. Target, Walmart, GameStop, what like EB in Canada and stuff like that. Um, it's really to satisfy their retail partners so they can have something physical on the shelf. They can get a cut off of each of those sales, and Rockstar gets a cut off those sales as well. That's what this is all about. So here's my thing. If it's that big of a deal, don't go to Target, don't go to Walmart, don't go wherever to buy a physical copy. Just buy the digital copy because you're getting a digital code regardless. So anyways, vehicle 95 Grotti Cheetah, Grotti's signature mid 90s sports car and ode to short drive. 95 Grotti Cheetah is complete with minimalist retro futuristic livery and available to punctuate later stage action. This is the one that looks like a Ferrari Testarossa, my dream car. Weapons Hawk and Little Morgan revolvers, his and her versions of the powerful revolver with the classic Vice City styling, sourced from the Versetti estate. Awesome. Including palm tree edge grips, engraved detailing, and high performance scope. Weapons, personalized variants, personalized sidearms with detailed engravings for Jason's Garari ES9 pistol and Lucia's closed K17 pistol. Looks, Vice City style, whether poolside or side by side, Jason and Lucia can look the part with exclusive outfits, tattoos, and more. Vehicles, Jason's safe house vehicles, switch gears and soak up the sun in any army fatigue teamed Dinka Enduro motorcycle or Crest kayak. Mod kit Ganado retro build ejects some muscle and classic style into Jason's well-worn Vapid Ganado low riding pickup with exclusive mods. This is the car that looks like the Chevy El Camino that Jason's driving in one of the trailers. I think it's trailer two. Mod shop, ride out custom transform vanilla vehicles into magnificent works of art with detailed interiors, exquisite rims, and donk stylings. Only open for business with the Ultimate Edition. The fact that they use the word donk, and in the picture it looks like some really 305 Miami type shit. Like we're talking donks, we're talking like Rick Ross in the 2010s. There's a Rick Ross song called Box Chevy. Listen to that song, and like that's what we're talking about when we're talking about donk. Hair salon. Sarah's unisex salon gets signature style salon styles for both Jason and Lucia, including facial hair or Jason and makeup and nails for Lucia. Only open for business with the Ultimate Edition. Watercraft clothing store stock 305. Vehicle and garage 67 Vapid Dominator buggy. A lot of stuff. So there's quite a few things that are locked behind the deluxe edition, and I know it's $100, and I'm going to buy it. I'm just gonna buy it. I don't know. Uh, uh, back to the digital download thing. Confirmation that the launch version of the game will not ship on disc seems to partly corroborate an earlier report that there would be no physical version on release day for the much anticipated Rockstar sequel in an effort to prevent leaks. Yeah, Polish site PPE.pl reported in January that GTA 6 will likely get a physical release later, potentially in 2027. It claimed that the decision was partly made to avoid leaks, something that has already plagued the new Grand Theft Auto in recent years, an issue Rockstar has historically been serious about tackling. So that kid that leaked all that stuff, eh. Um. So yeah. So where does the game play best? Well, remember how I said PlayStation would have marketing rights? Well, there's something on the PlayStation blog. They're not coming out and saying they have marketing rights, but this is probably the closest thing until we get the true confirmation. Grand Theft Auto 6 plays best on PS5 on November 19th. SIE and Rockstar Games work together to deliver the best experience on PS5 by leveraging its innovative features. Since Grand Theft Auto first arrived on the original PlayStation in 1997, the series has defined generations of play. We know players are excited for Grand Theft Auto 6, which heads to the state of Leonida, home to the neon-soaked streets of Vice City and beyond, and the biggest, most expansive evolution of the series yet. Thanks to a close partnership between Sony Interactive Entertainment and Rockstar Games. Close partnership, right? Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 6 will play best on PS5 by taking advantage of PS5's immersive features to deliver a deeply engaging single player experience when it launches on November 19th. PlayStation 5 puts you in the center of the game world with the DualSense wireless controller reacting to your actions and bringing the sight, sound, and sensations of Jason and Lucia's story into the palm of your hands. The controller's haptic feedback offers responsive vibrations, while its adaptive triggers provide dynamic resistance. The controller's integrated speaker also adds another dimension to key moments and interactions with sound effects from the controller enhanced by haptic feedback. With Tempest 3 audio tech, you can surround yourself in the distinct soundscapes of Leonida, from the streets of Vice City to the moments that unfold all across the state. This highly accurate audio positioning enhances your perception, helping you to bring this world to life around you in unmatched ways. Grand Theft Auto 6 leverages the PlayStation 5's ultra high speed SSD, enabling you to experience the expansive world of Leonida with near instant load times. And that's just on the standard PS5. You can only imagine how this is going to work on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Just a second. Sorry about that. Um, Pre-orders at PlayStation Store June 25th. And we've gone over all this stuff. Purchases made before November 20th will also include the Vintage Vice City pack, which we went over. For new players who are looking to jump in, it's a great chance to also see why PS5 is the best place to play. Players can pick up a PS5 or PS5 Pro at direct.playstation.com. We're available at local retailers. Grand Theft Auto 6 marks an exciting new chapter for one of the gaming's most iconic series. We're proud to help bring the best experience to players on PlayStation 5. We can't wait until the game arrives on November 19th. We look forward to celebrating its launch with Rockstar Games and our PlayStation community around the world. Visit here for more information on Grand Theft Auto 6 on PS5. So there is a link, and where does it take you? It is PlayStation 5 Pro Enhanced. Offline play enabled, remote play supported, vibration function and trigger effects supported. Let's see. Uh, yeah, they go over all this stuff again. So PS5 Pro Enhanced. Remember when they said we were all ridiculous for spending the money that we did on our PlayStation 5 Pros when it launched in November of 2024? Well, guess what, fuckers? Who's laughing now? Derrick's laughing now. I am going to get to play the best version of the game until it launches on PC, to be quite frank with you. But I also have a standard PlayStation 5 in the living room, so I can go from my recording area to the living room seamlessly via the PlayStation Plus cloud. Saves, thank you very much. But I'm very excited to play this. I've mentioned before the PTO was already entered into the system. I will be sitting here at 11:58 on November 18th, ready to go. Ready and raring to go. So I cannot fucking wait. But trailer 3, I'm expecting maybe August, and then a gameplay trailer, which would probably be the last trailer in September, and then the full game launch, of course, in November. So we're counting down, you guys. We're counting down. We're almost there. So finally, we get to our top story. The Steam Machine. We were told it was coming soon. We still had no pricing. Well, the price reveal was the other day, and god damn it, I told you guys so. The Steam Machine costs $1,049. Is that too much? To that I say, abso-fucking-lutely. After months of speculation, the Steam Machine is finally here, starting at $1,049 for the 512 gig version. If that price is still within your budget, you can reserve it now on Steam. No, you can't. They still sold out pre-orders. That $1,049 is just the starting price, getting you just the 512 gig version of the mini gaming PC without the Steam controller. If you do want to add the Steam controller, there is a bundle for $1,128, which means you're getting Valve's controller for $79 rather than the $99 it'll cost you by itself. So it is a bit of a deal there. Not a good one, but it's a bit of a deal. If 512 gigs of storage isn't enough for you, Valve is also selling a 2 terabyte model, which will set you back $1,349 for just the Steam machine. For just the machine. Or $1,428 bundled with the Steam controller. That is a steep price to be sure, but Valve is packing 2 additional faceplates with every 2 terabyte console, so you at least get some added customization options. How about giving them Steam credit or something like that? Here's some faceplates. Gabe has been fucking y'all for years, and I keep telling y'all think Gabe Newell is just genius, and I'm like, okay, keep believing that bullshit, and here you go. He lined y'all the fuck up. Way back when Valve first revealed the Steam Deck, my gut was telling me that it cost somewhere around $800. I was probably right at the time, but the cost for PC components, particularly RAM, have skyrocketed over the last 6 months or so. That $1,049 is going to be a hard pill to swallow for anyone hoping to get the Steam machine, especially if you are weighing it against the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, both of which are more affordable, at least for now. While the Steam machine is quite a bit more expensive than any of the mainstream gaming consoles, it is still a gaming PC, and in that world, Steam machine's $1,049 price tag isn't quite as painful. It really isn't, considering the price of PC components. And even before the pricing went crazy, building a PC is not cheap. I've said it many times here. I've spent $2,000 building my PC. It's not something I'm proud of. I didn't drop that all at one time. I bought parts over time, just being clear about that. Now, the price tag isn't quite as painful, especially when you consider how tiny it is. After all, many gaming PCs with this kind of horsepower can cost hundreds more than the Steam machine currently does. Now, how to buy the Steam machine. If Steam machine's high price doesn't scare you away, you can reserve it now on Steam. Valve seems to have learned its lessons from both the Steam controller and Steam Deck's launch, so the Steam machine will only be available via a randomized reservation queue. Valve hopes that the system will not only combat bots and scalpers, it will stop people from feeling like they have to sit at the store page and mash the refresh button to get to the front of the line. Now, here's how it works starting out today and until June 25th. So by the time you guys hear this, this is over. You can sign up for whichever version. It doesn't matter to talk about this because, again, by the time you guys hear this, this will be over. So that's that. So this is the information that we were all waiting on. The Steam Machine was originally meant to cost about $700. The RAM apocalypse claims another victim. Again, the machine was announced earlier today with an eye-watering price of $1,049 for the entry-level 512 gigabyte model. It's probably not the price Valve had in mind for its mini gaming PC. When I got the chance to sit down with Valve engineers Pierre Graffa and Yazan, I can't pronounce this, so I'm not going to try to. Last week to talk about the Steam Machine, I asked them what the Steam Machine would have cost before the current memory market, and while neither of them would give me a hard number, I was told that it was probably similar to the price increase that the Steam Deck experienced last month. So when they do the math, some quick napkin math pins that the Steam Deck price increased around 35 to 36% above the handheld's original $549 asking price, resulting in the new price of $789. If you do the math for a hypothetical $749 pre-RAM Ramflation Steam machine, that would make the final $1,049 price about 33% more expensive. I was told that Valve hadn't landed on a final price before they had to start tweaking the price to reflect the new reality that we're living through. But a $749 price tag will put it in spitting distance with my original guess of the Steam machine would cost about $800. We've been hearing conflicting things about how long current AI-fueled RAM crisis will be going on, but Valve isn't the only gaming company that's raising prices. Both the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 had price increases a couple of months ago. And according to a memo by Xbox CEO Asher Sharma, the hardware going into Xbox consoles will eventually cost 5 times more than it originally did. So those will probably see yet another price rise at some point. But who knows? Maybe the RAM bubble will burst and Valve will be able to bring the price closer to its initial target, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Neither would I. Neither the fuck would I. So comments. Dread to think what the PS6 or Helix will cost. AI has truly ruined affordable hardware. This is true. Helix next year, yes. Xbox is desperate and trying to change things up ASAP. I think the Steam machine will bomb, but Xbox will still put out a similar system next year and do the same. The Helix ain't going to be what they originally told you it was. Someone says Microsoft and Sony is going to watch how well it sells closely. If it sells well, we'll set a precedent for what consumers will pay for these devices. If it doesn't, good, but bet they're going to wait for RAM prices to drop before they launch. Someone says, yeah, I don't need a Steam machine for $1,100. Most of the games that I play don't even push the limits of a PS5. I mostly wanted it because of the cool PC indies that come out on Steam. I see the streamers play. I don't even know the thing if it's going to cost 33% more. Well, a little more context, you guys. This was very interesting. So Linus Tech Tips. Who was it? Oh, so Polygon has a story. So these are 5 things that the Steam machine. Wait, that's not what I was looking for. I can't find the video and stuff. However, when they played they took the same game and played it on both the Steam machine and the PS5 Pro, and it performed better on the PS5 Pro. Now, Linus Tech Tips is a staunch PC guy, and he did this comparison, and he was like, "I would spend the money on the PlayStation 5 Pro." When it's coming from a guy like Linus, that is saying something. Apparently, this thing has been underperforming in its tests and stuff like that, and for the cost, it's just not a good idea. Just is not a good idea. So here we are, finally getting the pricing, all this information, and Valve just blew a bunch of smoke up everybody's ass. Again, I've tried to tell people about Gabe Newell before, and again, I'm not blaming the price on him because the AI boom. We need to blame everybody that's using ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, et cetera, et cetera. That's where the blame needs to be laid. But they need to do something to enhance this besides, like, if number one, it's like a living room console PC, so you can put it on your TV. Launching that without a controller is fucking ridiculous. And everybody's like, "Well, you don't have a fucking keyboard and mouse, then that's your fault." I don't know a lot of people like, do you have to set up a desk near your TV or have a coffee table that rises or like what the like because with a Bluetooth wireless mouse and keyboard, there's going to be latency. I don't think people understand how stupid they sound when they're like, "Well, if you don't have a keyboard and mouse, it's your fault." The fact that they're launching this as a living room PC and it's only for gaming and you have to pay extra, you have to pay for a separate bundle to get a controller is fucking asinine. That is why I'm looking at Gabe Newell like you're fleecing these fucking people. But let them tell it it's not that bad. Okay, you're paying for the base model. The base model without a fucking controller is $1,049. That is before sales tax. Also, you can't walk into Best Buy or anything like that and buy this. They've got to ship it to you. So then they're going to add in shipping. This console, this whatever the fuck Valve wants to call this, you're looking at easily 1,100, almost $1,200 just for the 512 gig model without a controller. That is fiscally fucking responsible if I've ever heard it. If I've ever fucking heard it. So the thing that Valve just did, they just tested the market for Microsoft and Sony for Project Helix, whatever the fuck it's going to be called, and for the PlayStation 6. And they're like, well, it's different. It's a niche market because it's PC gaming. That's fine. At the end of the day, it is still a piece of gaming hardware that on the lowest end costs $1,049 before tax, before shipping. And that comes without a fucking controller. Again, that is fiscally fucking responsible if I've ever heard the word. This was one of the worst things that Valve could have done. I don't hope the thing flops because there's a team that actually made this, but I cannot believe they had the galls and the fucking cojones to come out and be like, this is a great deal. No, it's not. Not in US American dollars, not in the Deutsch, not in the pound, not in the yen, not in the fucking Canadian dollar, which I don't know if it's still called the loon. There's not a fucking piece of currency around the world where this is a good value. I promise you. I fucking promise you. So, we are on the fuck around and find out graph. We are now in the find out portion. Every time you use Microsoft Copilot, every time you use Google Gemini, every time you use ChatGPT, you're costing the price of these consoles and in PC building to go up exponentially. So I hope you idiots have fun making fucking pictures of the Harry Potter crew with iced out chains and grills. Yeah, I really want to see Ron Weasley holding a double cup of lean that Lil Wayne would have drank 10 years ago. Because that's what these idiots are using fucking ChatGPT for. Fan fucking tastic. Fan fucking tastic. Anyway, that's going to do it for yours truly. I'm going to end this like I end everything else. Believe in yourself first and foremost, because if you don't believe in yourself, well, of course, nobody else will believe in you. As always, my name is Derrick Lamon Jackson, and that is my time. Y'all have a good one. See you around.